All right, boys, let's begin. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, guys. Welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new here, hello, my name is Yusuf. I make videos on business, productivity, lifestyle, mainly in the Muslim niche. Behind the scenes, I help people scale their social media and teach them the ropes on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And then over here, usually on this channel, I share my teachings when it comes to winning both in the deen, when it comes to winning in the dunya. So today, I want to talk to you guys about the number one rule when it comes to personal branding. A little bit of my story is I started on personal branding 4 years ago. I think it was during the pandemic, and I was able to monetize it full-time for the past 2.5, 3 years. And alhamdulillah, since then I've made 6 figures and I've got a successful business behind it. And I was able to move into a beautiful apartment like this, get married, and even retire my parents and allow my wife to quit her job. So being able to provide someone with the resources and the peace that comes along those things is just a great thing. So if you guys probably clicked on this video, either you want to learn about personal branding or never personal brand yourself, and you want to learn how to kind of get more successful in your niche.
Alright, so before we continue with today's video, I want to give a big thank you and shout out to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Skillshare is the largest online learning community for creatives with thousands of classes led by industry pros across film, illustration, design, freelance, productivity, and so much more. And they even have something called a learning path. They build on one another, reinforcing lessons. Now they are available in a range of experience levels from beginner to advanced. So it's absolutely no joke when they say that they are the largest online learning platform for creatives. So if you guys have been following me for some time, you know that Notion is literally like my second brain. So I have my entire business backend that's over there. All of my YouTube videos are scripted over there. But when I was browsing on Skillshare, I actually found a Notion masterclass by the productivity experts Ali Abdal, and I decided to take it. Now, I thought I understood Notion before, but my understanding of Notion completely changed and it just expanded in knowledge. If you guys use Notion, which I'm sure a lot of you guys do use, it's super hard to get used to the templates and the functions and all of the bells and whistles that Notion has to offer. But learning from an expert like Ali Abdal in the form of a masterclass for Notion has immediately changed my entire experience using Notion. It really helped me organize my life and helped me prioritize the things that need to get done. What, you want to use Skillshare also? So because Skillshare is sponsoring this video, they decided to hook it up for the homies. So that being said, the first 500 of you to use my link in the description will receive 1 month free trial of Skillshare. So make sure you guys go ahead and get started today. The link down below, wherever it is. And thank you again to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video.
In the beginning of this year, around February time, I opened up my doors for the first time ever to mentor other coaches and other creators in my network to grow on social media. In doing so, I realized I myself was kind of swaying away from the biggest tip and the biggest thing. Pretty much the first thing that I teach all of my clients at this point is you have to be yourself. There is no way around you being successful in an online business or social media career without you truly tapping into what makes yourself unique. Although this is one of the first things that I teach my clients, and then after that, of course, we build out a business strategy for them and then for their audiences as well. This is still a point that I come back to time and time again, and even with myself and even with my wife. As I'm mentoring her as well, I'm doing exercises with her and helping her really figure out who she is as a person and what her story is. When it comes to personal branding, your story is going to be your biggest superpower, because it is very easy to get caught up in the story of other people. You have so many gurus that are online that may be more successful than you, and it's really easy for you to look at them and resonate with a lot of what they're saying, and you can easily try to take on their personality and their character. I myself am a huge victim to this, because when I started pursuing social media to be my full-time thing and to be a content creator, I was looking at other people in this space that were doing it at a much larger scale than myself, and I went down this rabbit hole, trying to be someone that I'm not, and in the end, you're only going to be found at a lost position. You're going to feel like you're very lost in life. You're going to feel like you don't know who you are. And at the end of the day, say you are successful at that, you're going to be building an audience of people who don't even know who the real you are. And then on the other end, you're going to be exhausted because you're going to have to put up with this character, this false character that you built, right? So that's why I give you, before posting any content, you really have to understand who you are as a person, so that that kind of anchors you and helps you navigate when you are testing different types of content and testing different types of things. Because I'm not saying that you should always stay the same, because I think as human beings, we're always evolving, but always try to learn new things to take it to our character and change. And if you're watching this channel and clicked on this video, you probably more than likely have a growth mindset. And congratulations for that, because that's something not many people have in today's day and age, especially with social media being heavy on short form content nowadays. You don't see that much. But yeah, guys, so in today's video, I really wanted to speak on the number one rule of personal branding, which is being yourself, and then how you can stay true to that position in your character. Now, a couple of the things I will mention that you can keep note of when you are creating content is when you see a piece of content that you really resonate with and you can tend to copy. There's a book that I read called Steal Like an Artist. That book, essentially, you don't have to buy it. I honestly won't recommend reading it because it's pretty much a waste of time. Just watch this video until the end and you pretty much want to be able to understand what the author is saying. But in that book, the author talks about how bad artists copy and great artists steal. Now, stealing like an artist isn't a bad thing. Stealing other people's ideas, it might seem like you're copying other people's work, but in reality, it's just taking inspiration. You see very big, successful brands do this. People like Disney, people like Apple, artists across the world, they all do this. You know, where they see another piece of art and they like it very much, so they start to involve that type of art or that type of style or whatever it may be into their own art. And creating content is very, very similar to that. The way that I would go about it is I would choose 1 to 3 creators that you really, really enjoy watching, and someone that you feel that you resonate with and you can see yourself inside of, right? So in my case, it's David Blade, Sam Calder, and a good friend of mine named Jun Yu. So Jun, if you're watching this, brother, thank you so much for all the stuff that you have been putting out recently. So Jun is definitely like a big brother to me. He's a Korean guy. If you guys don't know who Jun is, he has freaking millions of followers all over his platforms, and he's just a winner. He's a winner at the end of the day, and honestly, it's very inspirational. Those are my 3, so you guys can go check them out and kind of see how my content is versus their content. So Sam Calder, he is someone who is huge on storytelling in the form of films, in the form of YouTube videos, in the form of travel blogs, at least back then when he made his name. He was very famous for making travel vlogs. David Blade is someone who is just like king of aesthetics when it comes to fitness. Even though my content has nothing to do with fitness, I resonate a lot with his content. And growing up in like that era of, I'd say the golden era of Gymshark, I extracted a lot of things from David Blade into my own type of content that maybe a lot of you guys who watch him can also see. And then more recently, it's my friend Jude. So I would say follow 1 to 3 people who you really, really enjoy and study their content and see how they're doing things. And then ask yourself, not if you can make the exact same thing, but ask yourself, if I was to make this, if Yusuf was to make this, if Ahmed was to make this, right? If I was to make this, how would this look? In the lens of my own brain, in the lens of my own creativity, how would it look like, right? Because I'll give you an example to kind of give you guys more perspective, a bit more insight. Say you have 2 brands. Let's take 2 brands so say for example, you have Apple on one end and then you have, I don't know, Porsche on the other end. And if you were to say, if Porsche was to make a phone, how would that look, right? So it probably won't look anything like an iPhone, but it would look like Porsche's version of a phone, right? So that may not be the best example, but I just want to give you guys an understanding of when you're stealing like an artist and when you're making something that's personal to yourself, make sure that you're not copying and pasting, but make sure you're asking yourself, how would I be able to make that type of video, you know? In the beginning of my journey, I struggled a lot making content because I was always plagued by this idea of, oh, I'm Muslim, but at the same time, I want to be an entrepreneur and I want to be a content creator. And I want to be someone who talks about fitness and fashion and faith, and like, I want to share things about my family. And none of it made sense because back then, all the creators just stuck to one niche. But I'll give you a secret. You are your strongest niche. Everything that you like and everything that is you, it is what's going to make you successful at the end of the day, right? Whether you're someone who likes cats, who likes to draw, who likes to play chess, and then say you're Muslim as well, or maybe you're Christian and you have a big affinity for leather jackets, so all you wear is leather jackets, and then say you love orange juice, so orange juice becomes like a part of your branding. Branding, people don't just buy into brands, they buy into culture, right? And what makes up culture? It's the people, right? And then obviously in a culture, we have to have a leader. I'm not saying that all you guys have to go out and build a cult-like following, but in all honesty, if you want to be successful on social media, building something like a cult following is pretty important, you know? Alhamdulillah, all of you guys watching, if you guys are subscribed to me, watched me for a while, you can see the journey of my social media. From the beginning, I started off with a cult following because I wasn't scared to share who I was as a person, right? I'm Hafiz. My mom is a convert. She's Filipino. My dad is Pakistani. I was thrown into a boarding school at the age of 12, and now I had a handful of traumas when I graduated from that Quran school. And alhamdulillah, I got a lot of good out of it, but there's also a lot of bad that came out of it. And maybe one day I'll go in deeper into a video about them, but I got into fitness, I got into fashion, I got married, alhamdulillah. So it's like all these aspects of my life and what I have chose to show on camera has been unique to my own self. Don't be afraid to share the things that you like. Don't be afraid to share what makes you you. And I don't mean to sound like a broken record here, but at the end of the day, that is the number one rule when it comes to personal branding. And if you want to have a successful online business, the best way to start it is by having an audience. Because when you have an audience, that's already your customer base, and that's already people who are already willing to pay for the products that you put out. Attention is a new oil in today's day and age. And if you are not going to be someone who is building that audience, you should probably be helping someone build an audience. Like, I have a team of editors and people who are helping me in the back end of my business, who are helping me get things out to my clients, as well as like the audience over here, as well as you guys over here. So if you guys have any questions about personal branding or social media or anything like that, feel free to leave a comment down below. For the first 2-3 hours when this video is uploaded, I'll be down there answering your comments, answering your questions, whatever concerns you guys have. I'll try my best to do that. And I have a project that I'm working on. It's going to be some type of self-improvement community that I'm very, very excited for, but I'll speak more about that in the future videos. At the end of the day, I want you guys to remember that Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither will you. So keep your head down, because patience is a virtue, and I'm praying for you.